Alright, here's foundation number 2. I'm assuming that you could make sure that you go in and you get into the again, not the construction template, but the residential template. And if you do it correctly, you'll see that you have all these things over here. If you don't see all these over here, you're in the wrong template. Again, all I did was take my measurements. It doesn't tell you how far left or right to come here. Just pick a measurement and go. For everything else, it pretty much tells you the measurement, so it doesn't matter as long as it looks something like what we got on the screen for the measurements. So there's my 10-inch concrete wall. It said there are 3 beams. All right, our beams, again, if I'm on the foundation plan, again, here's my 3D plan. I wouldn't be working on a 3D plan because it doesn't know which level to go to. So if you go to the foundation plan, and I go up to my structure beam, we're obviously going to put a beam across the middle. That's an obvious one. And then we're going to put a beam from the outside edge to the outside edge of this one. Again, we're trying to put a beam so the floor joist have a span this way. There's no reason to go from middle to middle on this one because we're not trying to split this difference over. We're trying to get that extra 3 foot this way. So the same thing with this one. Again, we'll put a beam going across the outside edges of the wall here. So now I've got my beams. I do not need a pole underneath those small ones. That span is not big enough, but this span here is quite large. So we got to put some footings, and it says 2 posts equally spaced, okay, with a 2 foot by 6 by 2 foot by 6 footing. I'm just going to come up here to my wall. I'm going to go all the way to the top to my 24-inch footing. I'm going to go to wall center line. And I might not be doing it exactly centered, but I'm just going to put one in here. And then I'll put another one in here. Whoops. Somewhere there. So I got my 2 posts for my hole, for the poles. Now when I go up to column, architectural column, again I'll put one there, I'll put one there. It says the visual layer is not on, what that error was. But when I go to my 3D view now, I'll see that it is dinked up like it was before. So I'm going to select this one. I'm going to hold the shift button down. I'm going to select this one. So there should be. Oh, it was control. I held the control button down and I selected them both. So my base constraint is going to be bottom of footing. My top constraint is top of footing. That's going to shrink those down. There they are. I'm going to do the pole, hold the control button down. So now they're both blue. And the base constraint on this one is top of footing, and the top level is the foundation level. So there's my poles holding up that. And again, I don't need them over here. So let's go back to that foundation level. The next thing it says is we need some basement windows in there. It says 5. So maybe we go window. Again, I'm just going to kind of select. It's going to give me an error when I click on it. Let's go to the 3D mode. I'll go window. Again, we're not going to have these big old windows here in a second. We're going to change the size of them. And then once I select a window and I come up here to edit type, I can change the size of it. So the height will make them like 1 foot. The sill height, see, the width will say, actually we'll just keep it 1 foot by 3 foot, see what happens here. See how it makes them smaller looking? Which that's about what we'd have in a basement. Obviously they'd be up a little further on the 3D view. And we'd raise those 2 up too. If I go to foundation, you should see the windows. The windows are now in there. The garage door and the service door I'll show you in just a second, but I want to go start to actually no, let's just do that now. Alright, instead of working in the foundation view, I'm going to go to the 3D view for a second. I'm going to select this wall and I'm going to go edit the profile of the wall, and maybe we'll look at it a little bit better from the front view. Again, I'm looking at the pink part of it. It says it's a 16-foot wide garage door. Depends on how much space we got. I'm going to come down like 1'3" or so, and then I'm going to go over my 16 foot. I'm going to come up, and then I should be able to use this little trim extends. I'm going to go there to there. I got to unjoin the element for a second. Then I'm going to redraw back into it. So I got a solid profile now. When I select it, that is the cutout for my garage door. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to select that wall. I'm going to go edit profile. I'm going to go ahead and change it around. And this time I've got a little 3-foot service door. So I'm just going to, it doesn't make a difference really where I put it at. I'm going to come down, I'll come down to 1'3" again. We'll come over to the 3 foot. If I trim it out again, if I go here to here, it's going to give me an error again. I'll just unjoin the elements for a second so I can redraw that line. So now it's a solid profile. And again, what that gave me is my doors. If you go home and look at your garages, you'll see that there is a little bit of concrete and cutouts and stuff as you go around. The other thing that really wouldn't happen is these walls wouldn't be 9 foot tall like they are over here. But I'm not going to change that at this point. I just want to keep working here. So I'm going to go foundation plan. And now I can start to dimension this thing. So annotate, align. Again, I'm going to hold the tab button down one time. Hold the tab button one time. Tab gets it to bump over. Hey, I got a window now. So I can show where the exact location of my window. Tab. Alright. And then I would come back and I'd still do one overall one. I'd go how wide is the whole part, and then it goes on the top side of it. I'm going to go inside to my pole, I'm going to go tab it to each one of the windows again. Let's put the pole location in there. And we'll go show where the door is, and then finally tab again to pull it out. In architecture, it's almost better to over dimension than it is to under dimension. And if we take CAD, I always talk about over dimensioning, but in architecture, even dimensioning that 10-inch wall right there sometimes makes a difference for builders. There's no question with regards to where things are placed at. You'd keep dimensioning all the way around as well. And then this one would be done. We've knocked out the 10-inch concrete walls, the 3 beams. We're not putting the beam pockets in. 2 posts, 5 bases. So we got everything at this point, and this is what I'm looking at for the grade right here.